The idea here is to see if $100 is enough to buy you a decent guitar. And I'm not saying you should go right out onto Craigslist or eBay and buy a $100 guitar, because chances are it's not gonna be really worth anything. But the standard aside, if you look hard enough for deals and you get some cheaper guitars that you are willing to modify, there are ways of getting quality, or at least, you know, decent to upper end of the spectrum of decent guitars for $100. I'm going to start with this. And I know there's going to be some haters because it's a Bullet. Guitar Center tends to throw these things out for 99 bucks. And it was sitting against an amp, kind of right out on their showroom floor. And I don't know how well this sunburst translates, but it's just bright. And it's really eye-catching. So I picked it up for 99 bucks. And then I sanded down and refinished the neck, because if you know how Squiers go, especially Bullets, they've got no color to the neck. It's really just you know, a couple thin coats of clear on the raw wood. And it looks white, and you know, I wanted to give it something that gave it the more nicotine stained look. But you know, for the sound, now I'm running through my Marshall MG100 HDFX, which is not the greatest amp, but you know what, when you leave it on clean, and I put a touch of reverb in it because I don't have a reverb pedal, it works great. And it's a Bullet, but listen. And that's in the middle position. Drop it down to the humbucker at the bridge. And that's loud. And you know, I like to play clean, even though the majority of the time I play with distortion, so you can almost put any guitar through my setup and get some kind of okay sound. But when it comes to clean, this really does it for me. So yeah, decent guitar for 99 bucks. I've been very happy with it, surprisingly happy with it actually. You know, I first got it home and I was telling myself, be prepared for it to be a little weak, be a little, you know, just not up to snuff as far as, you know, what you're expecting when you pick up a Strat. It's light, you know, whatever, but I like it. It plays very nice, and I'll show you my next one. All right, now this is my baby, and oh, what did I buy it for? It was originally black, and of course the neck, it was a Squier Affinity out of China, and the neck was plain maple wood, super white, so I stained that to make it dark. I had originally relicked the black, and I just wasn't happy with it, so took all the black off, repainted it this kind of faded seafoam green color, and then did a relic to it. And it's beefy for all stock pickups. It's got a few things I changed on it just because they needed to. The saddles were pretty beat up. I changed those out. The tuners worked. They were, you know, they were oxidized, but they were oxidized in a really kind of not a pretty way. Just sort of cheap chrome bubbles and little sharp spots. So I switched those out. It's got the Kluson style, vintage style tuners on it. They're the same ones that are being used on the classic Vibes that are coming out of China. Fun. This was made in 1998, and the date on the neck is the 25th of December. How fun is that? It's made on Christmas. So I named it Christmas. I'll give you some sound. This was 70 from Sam Ash on one of their, like, we don't care racks that they roll out in the center of all their guitars that are like pretty much under 90, under 80 bucks. And I bought it because I wanted to use it with my Kurt Cobain Halloween costume, but I didn't want to have a left-handed, so I bought it, took it to my buddy's house for the Halloween party, stuck it in his room, didn't carry it around. You know, I wanted a right-handed because I play right-handed, and yeah, so give you some sound. That's in the center. Throw it down to the bridge. That's when you definitely hear that the pickups are stock and they're cheap. It just gets, you lose all bass. Even when you crank some bass onto it. There's really nothing there. Here's the neck. That's not a bad sound, you know, and for someone who's looking to play with distortion, this thing works great. $70. Don't be afraid to buy a guitar that's $100 or less. As long as you like what it sounds like originally, or you just need a body to do some work to. For a 98 Squier out of China, the action is flawless. It's just, it's really shocking. So yeah, $70 right there. Another guitar under $100 that sounds nice. And it's definitely one that I'm happy to have in my collection. Okay, here is a Craigslist find. And, oh man, as soon as I saw it on Craigslist for $100, I called the guy immediately. Now, I'm on Craigslist like you wouldn't believe. I check it anytime I'm on the internet. I scroll back to it just to see if there's any deals. This came up, called the guy 19 minutes after he posted it. He was pretty shocked. But it had originally the mirror pick guard, and it had a small crack in it, and it was in a place where the pick hits a lot when I strum, and I didn't want it to get worse or eventually fall off, because it was right down here at the bottom of the pick guard, and that's definitely a place where eventually this little bottom nug would have popped off, and yeah. So I took it off, hung it on my wall, got this off of Amazon, you know, maybe 12 bucks or something like that. Everything else is completely stock. It is a 2004, made in, crafted in Indonesia. It's just a beautiful Telecaster. It's a Squier, but it's thick. It's not one of those skinny affinities. It's got the really neat black headstock, which I really like. And it's my only Tele I have currently with a rosewood neck. And man, just... Love it. That's such a good sound. Hey, listen to the sustain on this thing. $100. Not even any tax because it was Craigslist. And don't let the name Squier throw you. Don't let the name Epiphone throw you. Yeah, they're made cheaper. But we're talking about $100 guitars. You're not going to get a Gibson. You're not going to get a Fender. But as far as just your standard, average, run-of-the-mill $100 guitar, if you look, you'll find some good ones. And I've been really happy with the guitars I have for $100. And I'll show you one more. Kill the volume on my amp because currently this one is not wired up. And I don't want to get into too much detail on it because it's got a lot of stuff going on. But again, this one was, it was $110 at Guitar Center. So I don't mind putting it into the $100 category. It's not wired up. I put on an aftermarket bridge. I also got a El Nico 5 to go in it. It used to be, of course, your standard Affinity from China where it had the 2 pickups, but I never played with the neck one anyways, and I love the look of an Esquire. So I took that pickup out and I gave it the Esquire pick guard. And then of course I put some other stuff on it that I'll explain in another video. But for $100, basically, this thing plays. I don't even know how to describe the neck. It's so nice. It's so straight and it's so smooth. And the fret ends, I mean, you really have to curl your finger over the ends to even feel where the frets are at all. Even going all the way up to the top, maybe they stick out just a little bit where it meets the body because, you know, your thumb's not getting up there. But it's just butter. It's just so smooth, the action playing all the way up. And the only thing I did to it is, in the process of relicking all this, aside from obvious changes, is I accidentally broke the nut, so I bought an aftermarket nut, which actually kind of worked out really well. It raised the strings up just enough so that there's absolutely zero buzz anywhere in it. And you're not going to be able to see that, but there's just about zero relief. This is a shredder of a guitar. And yeah, so there it is. Don't be afraid to buy a $100 guitar. Worst case scenario, what, you've lost $100? Oh no. Not the end of the world. Not the end of the world at all. Yeah, stay guitarded, guys. I also wanted to mention that the logo that is in the beginning of my video, the new logo I have, is courtesy of my buddy Trent. And I can't thank him enough. He did a really, really cool job designing it for me. I told him I wanted something that just said the name of my page, Guitarded and Broke. And he really made it into something cool. I love Telecasters. He knows that. He put the little Telecaster, you know, crossing necks on there and little banner. It's just really simple and perfect for what I needed. And he did that all just by knowing me and me asking. He said he's going to do a color version of it a little bit later. We'll see how that comes out. I'm excited to see that one too. And yeah, it's a really cool logo. So Trent, thank you. I really appreciate it, man. It's awesome, and it kind of gives my page a little more slick look. So appreciate it, man. And that's it.